Are your friends good enough for you? What kind of friends do you have? Your Christian friends, what are they like? I was in Philippians 1 in men's group yesterday, and what stood out to me the most was the way that Paul talks about his friends, the friends that he's writing to. And you can hear the passion in his voice, the love that he has for these people. I'll read it for you now. So it's Philippians 1, 3 through 8. I thank my God in all my remembrance of you, always in every prayer of mine for you all, making my prayer with joy because of your partnership in the gospel from the first day until now. And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. It is right for me to feel this way about you all, because I hold you in my heart. For you are all partakers with me of grace, both in my imprisonment and in the defense of the confirmation of the gospel. For God is my witness, how I yearn for you all with the affection of Christ Jesus. Can you hear the passion in his voice there? Can you hear the love that he has for these people? It's so obvious. It's so obvious. It says that they fill his prayers for joy with joy, that it's right for him to feel this way because he holds them in his heart. He says, how I yearn for you all. And in that moment in men's group, God just gave me this overwhelming satisfaction and joy, just this overwhelming love. And I'm sitting there with Landry, and I just say, I thank God for you, brother. I thank God that you're here. I thank God that we have this men's group, that we have this thing that we can come to every week where we pour out our lives to each other. I can pour out my sins to him. He can pour out his and confess his sins to me. We can celebrate victories together. We can mourn losses together. And I felt exactly what Paul felt in that moment. Just this unbelievably satisfying and overwhelming thankfulness for the friends that God had put in my life. And I think of the times when I'm with friends and for no particular reason at all, I just have that same overwhelming feeling of satisfaction and joy that are hard to even put in words. It just makes me tear up and say, man, thank you. Thank you for being the brother to me that you are. And I know that feeling. I know the feeling of just being overwhelmed. I knew that feeling that Paul had. And so my question for you is, do you have friends like that? And an even better question is, are you that kind of friend? Do you have those kind of friends that just give you this overwhelming feeling of, man, this is what it looks like to follow Jesus. This is what it feels like to be a follower of Jesus. Friends that are always inspiring you and encouraging you to know Jesus deeper, to love him more, to walk with him more, to tell others about him more, to spread the gospel more. Do you have those kind of friends that are encouraging you to do that? Friends that when you're hanging out with them, sometimes you just get this overwhelming feeling and you're like, man, I gotta go get in my word. I gotta go spend time with God. Thank you for the encouragement that you've given me. I've gotta go. I need to go get alone with God. Because that's what Paul had. Those are the kind of friends that Paul had. And by the grace of God, those are the kind of friends that I have. Blood brothers that would take a bullet for me. They're the best kind of guys that anyone could ask for. They're the kind of guys that I go into spiritual battles with. And they're the kind of guys that I could trust my life with in war if it came down to it. You need friends like that. You need friends like mine. You need these people. And what you don't need is any more churchy fake friends that are going to play a game with you because they've got an image to uphold. And what your friends don't need is you to be playing some churchy bullcrap game because you've got an image to uphold. You need friends that you can get real with and that will get real with you. And it's time to get real. It's time to quit playing a game. It's time to get serious and put aside this image that we're trying to uphold so that we can have the kind of friends that Paul is talking about, and so that we can be the kind of friends that Paul is talking about. You need these kind of friends more than you could ever know. You will never become the man or woman of God that he has called you to be without these friends. It's just not possible. God put people here for a reason, to encourage, strengthen, and establish us. That's what He gave us friends for. It's what He gave us people for, so that we wouldn't have to do it alone. And so I hope you shut this video off and you go and get alone with God and just start praying that He would send you those kinds of people in your life. And I hope that it convicts your soul, if you're playing a game, to stop playing a game, to stop pretending, to stop being that churchy bullcrap fake person that just pretends that he's got it all squared away, so that you could become the kind of friend that Paul had. And what's funny is, when you start being that kind of person, when you start opening up and getting real about your life, I think you'll find that the majority of the time, that's just the catalyst that the people around you needed for them to go ahead and open up and start to get real too. You can have those kinds of friends. You can have the kind of friends that allowed Paul to be in prison and be overwhelmed with joy, to be getting beaten and be overwhelmed with joy, to be suffering and be overwhelmed with joy. You can have those kind of friends too. But oftentimes, it requires you to become that friend first.